Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tea with Z. My name is Zamel Solanki, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joining each and every one of you again on another episode this morning. And I really hope that you had you've enjoyed the episodes to date, because at the end of the day, this is, I guess, a whole bunch of content that I'm dropping on you each and every weekday morning. But the more that you engage, and I get people telling me, one on one all the time, or send me a private message just to let me know, where this information is impacting them, and I guess where they're using this information. And it's really, really cool to start to see that, because at the end of the day, I want to just share what I'm talking about. And there's areas of my profession that I know that I'm not the expert at, but this is everything that I talk about in T with Z is things that I talk about with my clients, my colleagues, my friends, my family, but that's actually then translated into tangible outcomes in their businesses. And I've seen that, and through my work with my clients, everything I discuss with you has had meaningful impacts in the business, and not only their businesses, but in my business as well. And so, what I really wanted to do today, before we kick off today, is just say a big thank you. A thank you for joining me on this journey, because at the end of the day, each and every one of you that partake, that do really, I guess, get themselves involved in this content, I just wanted to say a big thank you. And for those within the Limitless Network as well, a special thank you to you as well. We're going to start putting a little bit more emphasis on growing this community specifically as well, because as you know, that's my only quarter, or my shout out from every episode that I do with T with Z, is to join that Limitless Network. But I'm going to start to, mix things up a little bit more and create other levels of exclusivity for that group as well, coming soon. And stay tuned for that as well. But if you are watching live, give me some likes, give me some hearts, because as you know, that energy is absolutely awesome. And if you are watching a replay as well, do the same. But not only that, but feel free to share this content as well. I know some of you do share it, and it's amazing to see the different breadth of people that value health in any way, shape, or form really jump on this and start to engage with it as well. Even if you're just getting one takeaway from every single day, or even just one takeaway a week, whatever it might look like to you, hey, if it can make some sort of change in your life, whether or not it's you thinking about doing something differently or looking at doing something differently, that's all I can ask. So, coming into today's topic now, I don't know if you've seen the news over this past few days. We've seen the news drop about Portugal making it illegal for employers to contact their employees or their team, their talent, outside of work hours. And as a result of that, we're now seeing that, I guess, different movements. Now, this is following on from laws that were enacted in France. There's been similar laws enacted in Germany, but Portugal is, I guess, the latest one that has kind of hit the headlines locally here and internationally, to be really, I guess, defining that clear line and drawing that line in the sand between work and life balance. And when we look at that, obviously, the pandemic has really accelerated these conversations about how we work, and then how we find our times in our personal lives. And when you look at that conversation, you look at this work life balance, and we've discussed remote working in the past, and we'll continue to discuss that in the future, and the impacts it has on our businesses as health entrepreneurs, but even our businesses, whatever that might look like to us. But at the end of the day, knowing that we value health, so we value the health of our team, our talent, our customers, our consumers, our patients. If we value the health of them, this is where this is all starting to come about, because we see the psychological stresses that come about from being overworked, being even overworked and not being remunerated for that work. In Australia alone, people are reporting that on average, the average week, there's between 5 to 10 hours, but up to, and in some industries, of unpaid work per week, which is quite phenomenal when you think about it. And that might be, hey, starting half an hour earlier each day and staying back half an hour. later each day. It's as simple as that. And you add that up over 5 working days, that's 5 hours a week. And that might be extrapolated out across different industries and different, it might be shorter. It might be starting, 15 minutes early, but staying back half an hour late, whatever it might look like. At the end of the day, the moral of the story is that there is unpaid work. And I've seen that as well, working with other people and working with clients. They'll come in and team and talent members will be there, and they'll be there working on their own volition to get things done. And when you're looking at this post-pandemic world and you're looking at even the scrutiny about the workforce right now, what are your thoughts? Really, I wanted to, get your thoughts on today. What are your thoughts about this whole, I guess, moving towards this really clear drawing the line in the sand about this work-life balance? I'd be really interested to hear, because at the end of the day, we get text messages, we get emails from our team back to our leadership as well. So how does it work both ways? Because as an employer, we would send messages out to our team, to our talent, even picking up the phone going, hey, do you mind coming in tomorrow? We've got XYZ happening, or XYZ is off, or somebody's called in sick. How are the dynamics going to play out with what's okay to contact a team member about versus what's not okay to contact a team member about? But what about the other way around? Oh, I didn't get a chance to talk, if the talent member, oh, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about XYZ. And sorry, I'm calling you on a Saturday, Mr. Bossman. Do you mind if we have a chat? Well, how does it work coming back the other way? And how do you see that, playing out? Because one thing that was, I guess, really resonated with me with my teams is that we would have, I guess, the ability to contact each other, but both ways. Both ways was really important, that if they needed to chat with me about something happening in their lives or something going on, they were able to talk to me and have these conversations, and vice versa. If I needed something from my team, and of course I respected that, they action it during work hours. But if I needed to give them a heads up about something that was going to maybe happen, then I was able to contact them and them to be able to receive that information, knowing that, hey, I wasn't, you're at a family picnic, drop everything now, I need you to come and do this. Well, of course, it's about finding that balance. But when you start creating a legislative framework around this, well, how do you see this playing out? How do you see this playing out? Because as from that entrepreneurial mindset, so there's somebody working for you that has that entrepreneurial mindset that wants to grow and develop the business, thinking like an entrepreneur, thinking like they're running it, but working for somebody like yourself. And somebody, as an entrepreneur that is running their own business, or even somebody in between, whatever that might look like. How do you see this playing out? And how do you foresee the impacts that this has on a team, particularly right now when there's so many workforce shortages? There's so many workforce shortages, and Portugal has probably timed this as a result of, they're opening up to the world. They've got one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, and as a result of that, they're smashing out their new normal. And as a result of that, they're now implementing these things to cater to what they see as their new normal. But how do you see this out playing in your industry, in your own area of the world? And we've got so many people from such diverse backgrounds watching this. How do you see this playing out in your country right now, in your demographic? Is this already a thing? Or is it totally the opposite and there just is no work-life balance? You take, like, say, when I was traveling around Japan and we're on the train and you're seeing people in suits literally leaving the office, and they haven't just gone out and partied. They're like literally just leaving the office at like 10, 11 o'clock at night to head home, and then coming back into the office at 5, 6 in the morning. When you see those other extreme elements of, workplace culture and that drive, to, I guess, work. And, we even touched on Suits last week as well. And you see in that show, in that legal profession, these associates working till midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, or whatever it might look like. well, how is this going to play out in different industries? And tell me about your industry. Drop a comment in the comment section below because I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out in your industry, or how you already see it playing out, and why something like this is needed or not needed. Yeah, let me know your thoughts because I'm really, really curious as to see, how this sorts of eventuates. Yeah, drop a comment in the comment section below because at the end of the day, I think this is coming, and the speculation is that this is coming in, some way, shape, or form about this. And there's been a lot of conversation about, unpaid working hours, and we've seen massive impacts to that in the past few years about major companies coming out and talking about that. But how do we see that now translating into, I guess, really defining that line in the sand? And so, yeah, drop a comment in the comment section below. I'm really, really curious to hear your thoughts about it. And as we continue on this series and talking about this stuff, yeah, I'm really, really curious about it. So that's it from me today. And if you don't want to drop a public comment, look, come to this group and let's talk about it here, or even just shoot me a DM. You can click on whatever you're watching this on. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, you can shoot me a DM. And if you're watching this on Facebook, you can send me a private message and let me know your thoughts. And it's completely confidential. I'm not going to say, Bob Jane sent me this message last night, and, this is now, what we're talking about. No, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about having these discussions. But if you want to have it in a private sense, reach out as well, because that's what it's all about. So that's it from me today. Some food for thought. Where do you see this line being drawn in the sand? What impacts is it going to have on your business, but even on your work life? Because I know everybody watching this isn't necessarily an employer, but they're an employee as well. How do you see this playing out? Is it good? Is it bad? What's your views? Drop a comment in the comment section below. Let's hear it. Have an amazing day. And I really look forward to reading it, because we're going to start to kick on talking about these things, because these are the evolving trends. All right. That's it from me for now. Have an amazing day.